Thank you for meeting us.
That's okay.
I'm really excited. Dave's going to walk us through the school, and we thought we'd start here in the Kindy, where we've got a few things growing here.
Yeah, there's quite a few things growing here. I guess there's a lot of outside play with the youngsters in the Kindy. A big part of it is using their hands, so they do a lot of hand work, a lot of knitting and digging. I think that's actually just known as the mud pit where they do most of their digging.
Yeah.
So the kids do quite a bit of gardening here as well. Yeah.
And so your role here is?
I'm the gardening teacher from class 3 through until class 10.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. So do you want to tell us a little bit about what that means? What does it look like in class 3?
Okay, class 3, they're usually very enthusiastic and energetic, and there's usually lots of them. So we do a lot of digging and a lot of weed pulling and a lot of planting. Depending on the enthusiasm of the kids, not all of the seeds grow, but usually we get enough up to be semi-successful. This is the primary school garden, and you might notice all the beds are raised beds. They've been built out of sandstone that was brought here to the property, and concrete and just general rubble. I built these beds because most of the topsoil has been removed from our school block, so the soil was really quite poor. So the only way was up. So most of these have been filled with compost and some soil that we had trucked in.
Wow.
Yeah.
When did you make these? This is a long time ago.
Yeah, these must be getting on to about 5 years old. It took
Okay.
me about a year to make them all, but yeah, I've been here for a while.
It's a beautiful space here.
Yeah, thank you. I'm very proud of the asparagus. That's been in for about 3 years now, so this year's pretty much ready to harvest in spring, I'd hope. Yeah.
And so usually what could we see growing? I mean, you've got things growing even though the schools have been closed. There's still plants in the beds.
Yep. I have to thank Vicky Carney for that. She's done a great job. But whatever we can grow seasonally, I try and grow stuff which is the kids can just graze on. So I've encouraged a few of them to try asparagus, not the easiest thing. I noticed Vicky's got snow peas in here, which are just perfect for kids.
Yeah.
Things like cherry tomatoes, because really we want them to plant them and then to be able to eat them.
Yeah. It's a great spot. I can see a herb garden, and it looks like you've got some green manure growing in some of the beds.
Lots of green manure over winter. Yeah. Various fruit trees scattered around too. So there's some citrus and mango, the banana. The white mulberries are a real hit with the kids if they let them ripen enough.
Yeah.
It's always a problem.
That's generally a problem with snow peas too.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, I'm really keen to look at your composting system.
Okay,
And your worm farms.
Well,
So
just
can we
before
look
we
at
have a look, I'll tell you a little bit about them.
Yeah, great.
So the idea is that we try and compost every compostable thing at the school. So we take all the food scraps from lunches, and we go through a lot of paper hand towels from the toilets. So we try and either compost that or put it through a worm farm to consume it all.
Oh, fantastic. Okay,
So let's have a look.
good. All right, thank you. Okay,
Yes.
Dave, I love compost
Yeah, me too.
and I love worm farms,
Yep.
so this looks like a good setup. What's
Yeah.
going on?
Okay, so the hardest part about the whole affair is getting compost from 300 kids down to one central spot, so all the scraps. I started off with these lovely 80-litre wheelie bins, but unless they're collected every day or brought down every day, they soon get quite full
Right.
and quite heavy. So we have also been using these smaller buckets which tend to come down, get full and come down every day.
So each class would have one of those?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there used to be a bin per class block, now we just have a bucket per class.
And that works better. Okay.
These are the worm farms. And here you can see our paper towel. Hello, what's your name?
Harrison.
Hey Harrison, see all the paper towel you've been using in the toilet?
Yeah.
Well, we've been putting that in, and the worms have been turning it into lovely soil. Look at that.
I don't see any worms.
You don't see any worms? They're in there. See
I
there?
want a worm.
There's one there.
Wormy.
No, I want the worms to stay in there.
Oh, wormy.
So we've got these 4 bathtubs, which are our worm farms, but we also have another 2 up at the high school, and a few of these purple wheelie bins in the preschool as well.
Okay. So
What is a purple
could you just
wheelie
run me
bin?
through again what was in? So is this just the paper towels?
Oh,
or you've
no.
also got the
Yeah.
food scraps are going in there too.
Yep, there are food scraps in here, and you can see quite a few coffee grounds. So there's obviously been a bin from the staff room has made it down here. Good thing that worms like coffee grounds, because they get a lot from the staff room. Oh, sorry. Around the back here, we have our compost bin.
Dave,
So-
is this a worm feeding?
Yeah, it is. So this one is the pre-compost heap. So any scraps can go in here also if the worm farms are full. A lot of paper towel goes in here, but also lawn clippings, anything that's not too woody that the maintenance crew collect from around the school goes in here.
Okay.
And when that is big enough, when that is big enough, we get together with a gardening class, and I'll bring in a lot of horse manure and cow manure, liquidize the cow manure, and make what the kids love to call a poo lasagna. And just piles and piles and piles and piles, and we'll do that in this one, and then we'll let that cook for about 6 months. We use biodynamic preparations in it, and then at the end of it, we turn it over into that end bay, which is our finished compost.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
And then I guess the compost goes back on the garden.
it certainly does. Yeah, there's never enough of it though. There's never enough
Yeah.
compost, I find.
Yeah.
The heaps start very big, but
Yeah.
they end up very small, and yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Plants
nature
love
of it. Yeah. Dave, where are we now?
We're outside of the library and class 4 and 5, or it used to be 4 and 5 before all the rooms changed. And you can see before you some of our bathtub beds. So just last year, about 9 months ago, a parent got a tip off that Reese Plumbing at out near the airport were giving away bathtubs, and so I went out there and picked up about 50 bathtubs, which I've distributed around the school, and they make great raised garden beds. Once again, it's good to get the soil up out of the ground, so to speak, and it's a good level for the kids to work at, and yeah, a lot of the teachers have themselves taken it on to plan into the bathtubs. The trouble is getting enough goodness to actually put in there.
Yeah, to fill them initially.
To fill them initially, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the compost certainly settles down very quickly. Yeah.
Have you found then by having, rather than just having that one area that we saw before with the primary school, now that you've got the bathtubs and you can spread it out along the school, do you think that's one of the reasons that people are engaging with it more?
Yeah, I think so. A lot of the teachers have asked me specifically, can you bring some bathtubs to outside our class?
Yeah. Okay.
Because it gives them something to work with, and the kids like the novelty of it too.
Yeah.
They don't have to go anywhere, it's their garden, and it's in a bath.
Yeah, which is cool. Yeah, I would imagine that they'd feel an ownership when it's actually out front of their own room.
Yeah, totally.
There's some snow peas on this one.
Yeah, more snow peas and a runaway pumpkin by the looks. So here you can see that we've made our way into the high school. You can tell that by the wicked graffiti on the garden beds up here.
Looks a bit different from the beautiful
Yeah.
Kindy
Yeah, it
space,
does.
isn't it?
And
Still beautiful up
the
here.
planetary scape behind you there. So these beds have just been freshly planted with potatoes. So
Right.
we've filled them up with layers of manure and compost and a little bit of soil, and that'll sink down. We'll keep adding soil to that, or compost, and build it up while the potatoes try and grow their way out. So here we are in our impromptu weed patch. It hasn't been planted like this. So in between some pomegranates and a few lemon, I've intentionally left this spot to be weedy to show the kids that weeds aren't necessarily a bad thing. So this is mallow, and the leaves of mallow, especially the little ones, are quite palatable and edible. This plant's a bit old and manky, but off the young ones it's really quite nice. Over here we have a nightshade. So I think it's a member of the Solanaceae. When those berries are purple, you can eat those little guys, and also the young leaves are also edible.
I've got lots of this in my
Yeah,
garden.
yep. And this is a type of amaranth as well. So you can gather the seeds off that or use the leaves as a green. And that looks like a white seed has popped up as well. Not to mention the feral tomatoes, which I need to stake up. And they've just come up out of the compost.
They're
So
my
what-
favourite crops, the
Yeah.
tomatoes.
So I've left this here. It looks really messy, and it's right at the entrance to the high school, but I think it shows that actually gardening's not all about, straight raised concrete beds
Yeah.
or furrows or lines in the ground. There's food everywhere. So here we are at the high school down in the garden, and here's another example of us trying to use as much of the material that's produced on site. So a lot of this, you can see the ubiquitous hand towels again,
Yes.
but a lot of this is sawdust from the shed. So that's raw timber that hasn't been treated or varnished. Any of the sawdust from the extractors gets dumped here.
Okay, so it's the woodworking shed.
The
where
woodworking
the kids
shed,
do
yeah, where
woodworking.
they
in the high
do
school.
their woodwork. And in the
Okay.
background we have our orchard, which we've just got the grey water system set up, and we need to plant a few more trees out there, probably in spring when things warm up a bit. So these are our beehives. They're just conventional Langstroth hives here. It's been a really hard year for bees, so we haven't been harvesting any of them. Needs to be straightened up. There's been no honey for harvest,
Okay.
but later on in the year, if we have a nice wet winter and a nice flowery spring, there should be hopefully some honey to harvest by the end of the year. The children in the younger grades do a lot of work with beeswax for modelling and stuff like that. There's always a candle somewhere lit during the day, so ultimately we'd like to provide the school with all of the honey and all of the beeswax candles and modelling wax as well.
Oh, fantastic.
In fact, that's the idea. If we can get the gardening program really running along, it would be great to provide a lunch to the kids at least one day a week, to the whole school, produced in some way by the food we grow.
That would be amazing.
Fantastic.
That's it. So we started one end of the school.
A
all
long way
on-
away, yeah. About
on the one location from Kindy up to year 12.
Yep.
And it seems like the gardening's really integrated with the whole syllabus
Yeah,
right the way
yeah.
through, which seems just amazing. And
Yeah, it's. I've found that just lately, in the last year or two, the teachers themselves have been really getting behind the gardening and not being afraid to get out and have a go. And,
Yeah.
as long as you keep the green bit pointing up and put the seed in the ground and keep it watered, you can't really
Then-
go wrong.
it's good advice.
Yeah.
Thank you. So it's a good place to finish, I think,
Okay.
or maybe to start, go home
Yeah,
and
yeah,
start next
yeah.
thing. So thank you very much, Dave,
Thank you very much.
for showing us through the school.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see how it keeps growing over the years and all the changes you're making. And when the kids come back to school next week, it's great that they're coming back to actually see that there are still veggies growing in the beds.
Yep.
I think you've done well to keep things alive.
Thank you. Thank you for getting me out of faculty meeting for an afternoon.
You're welcome.